Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and what's today, Tuesday? And we have a very, very, very special guest co-host today, Pastor A.R. Bernard.
Yeah, it is my pleasure to be with you and your audience today.
Listen, I feel like I should kind of just sit back and let you lead.
I hope not. I'm going to be following your lead this morning.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to have a fun show today. JJ Fad is joining us. You know, it is the 50th anniversary of hip-hop this year. JJ Fad, back in the day, had that smash hit song, Supersonic, that I used to love growing up. And that song has been used in many different movies. It's been sampled by Fergie. It's been referenced by Eminem. They were the first female rap group ever nominated for a Grammy, too. By the way, that's a little fun fact. And that was a year that all the artists, all the rappers were boycotting the Grammys, but they did still go, and they're glad that they went. They said that Chuck D told them they should still go to the Grammys.
Well, I think it's interesting that we have rap music opening many, many doors, especially when it comes to females in entertainment.
Right now is the time. I don't even want to know what Pastor A.R. Bernard is listening to right now. You know, but yeah, so JJ Fad is going to be joining us. 50th anniversary of hip hop. Pastor A.R. Bernard, for you, what would you say some iconic hip hop moments, like back in the day, the first hip hop song that you really knew?
I'm going to get in trouble here because hip hop for me. No, look, I'm like a sociologist who looks at it from its impact on culture. And hip hop has a place that really has shaped the world, the globe. So if I'm going to pick out a song, I don't know.
No back in the day, no Sugar Hill Gang.
Now you're going real back because I'm a big Tupac fan. I'm a big Tupac fan. Look, people don't know, but my ringtone is Your Better Days. So
I like that.
People don't know that part about me. I love different kinds of music, but I look at hip hop as a very important part of the progression of black people in America and what we bring to the table.
But we have a lot more for you guys coming up. And in the meantime, let's shine a light on them. You know, we've been shining a light with Pastor A.R. Bernard for the past couple of months, and now you get to do it live. 800-292-5150. Call us up. Shine a light on them.
I'ma shine.
Turn your lights on, y'all.
Turn your lights on.
Spreading love to those who are doing greatness.
Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them.
It's time to shine a light on them.
Yes, it's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and my co-host, Pastor A.R. Bernard, is here.
Yeah, it's good to be with you.
I'm enjoying this because I know he's going to, lead this whole segment right here, and it's time to shine a light. And that's when we shine a light on something positive.
Well, I think positivity is important. They say it takes 12 pieces of positive information to get rid of one negative piece of information that comes into our mind. So that's how devastating negativity can be.
I got to stay off social media. Well, today we are going to be having a town hall discussion, which I'm excited about. And I want to make sure I shine a light on you for actually coming up here to iHeart and doing this with me.
No, it is my pleasure to be with you. I keep saying that because it is, and it's an opportunity to respond to some of the things that are on people's mind, which you do very well on a daily basis.
Well, we'll be talking about relationships. So that is something that you definitely are an expert in as an author.
Yeah, my book, 4 Things Women Want from a Man, and How Dare Me Tell Women What They Want. But really, they told me, and that's how the book came about.
I could think of a few more than 4, but yes, but the 4 major things. And I watched your interview with Oprah about that also, which is very fascinating. So you guys, you can actually stream that live. Right, all you have to do is go to our YouTube channel, Way Up with Yee, and you can stream this conversation, this town hall live. I know a lot of people always have questions about relationships, and we'll be getting into some of those today, too.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. People manage their money and can't manage their relationships.
Woof. I know people who can't do either. And a lot of times money and relationships are very tied in together.
Absolutely.
Too. They say finances are one of the main reasons that people actually do end up getting divorced.
Yeah, unfortunately, we end up in a divorce court and it's all about the money.
All right, well, let's see who you guys want to shine a light on. 800-292-5150 is the number. Andrea, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Who do you want to shine a light on?
Myself.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yes, I'm shining a light on me and my business, the Body Studio. I'm located in Oak Park, Michigan. I have the #1 spa boutique and post-op care and med spa in Detroit area. And I just want to shine a light on myself and all my customers who got me to the spa. And,
That's dope. Oak Park is a beautiful neighborhood.
It is.
Oh, well, congratulations to you for having that. That's important work that you're doing right there, that med spa. To create an environment where people feel comfortable, you know, we take that seriously.
And we do. So just look us up, Angie, and the next time you're in Detroit, come see me.
I'm going to be there next week, actually.
Come see me. I would love for you just to come see it, catch a vibe. It's just amazing.
What's it called again?
The Body Studio. So if you Google me or whatever, but I will send you a DM off my business page so you can kind of just come see me.
All right, send it to me now. I'm going to post you too.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Shine a light.
You made my day, girl.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, well, that was Shine a Light on Him, 800-292-5150. You can call us up and leave a message in case you couldn't get through. And when we come back, we have Yeetie. We'll be talking about Travis Kelce, and his jersey sales have skyrocketed. We'll tell you what's going on. And I want to get past A.R. Bernard's take on something when it comes to people on social media, okay? It's Way Up with Angela Yee.
They say it's truth in the rumors.
From industry shade to all the gossip,
Talk to me.
Angela's spilling that Yee tea.
Talk to me.
Yes, it's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and Pastor A.R. Bernard is here.
Indeed.
To do some Yee tea. And you guys, make sure you follow him as well if you're not already doing that, just because amazing conversations. You know I've been following you for quite some time, so it's exciting to have you here today.
Yeah.
To do the rumors with me. Okay. So Travis Kelce, his jersey sales have skyrocketed after he had Taylor Swift attending one of his Chiefs games. And some people are talking about, they're not quite in a relationship yet, but they've been hanging out, and they've hung out several times. We saw Taylor Swift with his mom.
So when does it stop being rumor?
I guess when they do a Valentine's Day picture together on Instagram. I don't know. When Taylor Swift writes a song about him.
Yeah, well, I expect another song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after the breakup, too, that's when another song comes out.
That's what I'm talking about.
But it's interesting because Kayla Nicole is his ex-girlfriend. A lot of people knew him from dating her because, he's white, she's Black. And so when they broke up last year, it looked like they were going to get back together. But now I see a lot of people comparing Taylor Swift and Kayla Nicole and saying, is this a downgrade? He went from this to that. But look, he just moved on. They've already broken up. They've been broken up for over a year. He has, we don't even know if he's in a relationship. I think it's unfair. I see people in Kayla's comments. Some of them are supportive and some of them are, saying,
it's a tough thing when your life is in public, and everybody's trying to control the narrative, and you're the one that knows what's true, but you really have little control over what's true because what dominates is public opinion.
Yeah, and a lot of times that negativity can be draining for the person who is having to read it, but also for the person who's writing it.
Yeah, that's why I try to keep my life private and my family private. That's as much as I can.
Right. Well, your wife is out in the public, too.
She's a star.
Yeah, she is a star. All right, now let's talk about another public relationship. Giselle and Tom Brady. She sat down with CBS News Sunday morning, and the full interview aired on Monday. And she said that she does not regret getting married, but she does feel like she's in a better headspace now that they are not together. Here's what she said also.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have any other life. I wouldn't have done it. If they say, can you change something in your life? I wouldn't change absolutely anything.
Not even getting divorced.
I mean, it's not what I dreamed of and what I hoped for, but I think you have to accept, sometimes that the way you are in your 20s, it's, sometimes you grow together, sometimes you grow apart.
I mean, they were married for 13 years.
That sounds to me like she values the relationship, and he didn't, because he had an opportunity to retire. He decided to stay in the game, and from what I understand, she was ready for him to quit. So she put her life on hold. She sacrificed a lot to support his career, and every decision we make in life is a value judgment. He made one.
Yeah, and I think also he agreed and made an announcement that he was leaving, and she was excited about it. It would be one thing if there was an understanding, like, look, this is what I do. And Pastor A.R. Bernard, I'm only going to put this out there. I know you're very private, but you've been open also about not depreciating the value of your wife.
You know, whatever you appreciate increases in value. Whatever you depreciate decreases in value, and it affects you emotionally and relationally. So I try to do everything I can to appreciate my wife daily so that she remains valuable in my mind and in my heart.
Yeah, because you have a very high profile job too that requires a lot of your time.
With higher expectations, because I'm man of the cloth. So, you know, I'm held to a higher standard, and I understand that.
All right. And lastly, speaking of keeping our relationships private, Keke Palmer. Now, you know, she had a baby with Darius Jackson, and people were upset. She was at the Usher concert and got serenaded. He didn't like what she had on. He had something to say about that. And then it turned into this whole thing. Everybody was rallying up behind Keke Palmer. But now it looks like maybe they are back together. And here is what she had to say when she was questioned about this on Today with Hoda and Jenna.
The Beyonce concert, first of all, that was my second time going. I went first with my homegirls, and then he was like, I hear everybody's going for her birthday. I said, does that mean we're going again?
Yeah.
We're all about it.
Yeah.
Well,
are you all about him?
Good.
Yeah. Are we all about each other?
Not y'all trying to get into it. They tried it on the Today Show.
Hey, listen, you were a talk show host. You want to know if you're happy.
Howling.
Are you happy?
Yes, life is good.
Are y'all together?
I'm going to take a page out of my girl Beyonce's book, Mind Y'all's Business.
Okay. I mean, look, they were spotted out together. They had some very public relationship drama.
But isn't that the problem with being a celebrity? You've got to do everything you can to keep yourself in the public light and in the public conversation.
Yeah, and then, you know, you're spotted at the Beyonce concert with the person that everybody was mad at.
Do you adjust to that over time, or do you use it, or are some better at it than others? You're a high profile person.
I think, you know, it is important to protect what is near and dear to you, so that sometimes people that aren't in the light aren't trying to get that type of attention, and so you want to try to protect people. Sometimes other people that are with you get madder about things than you do. Like, they see things and they get so angry, and you're like, it's okay, it just comes with the job.
Yeah, and too often what we see with our eyes is colored by the condition of our hearts. So if our heart's messed up, everything we see will be messed up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is your Yeetie. We got a lot more of that, but when we come back about last night, that's where we discuss what we did last night and why that is relevant to today. It's Way Up with Angela Yee. Pastor A.R. Bernard is here all morning.
Yeah. Last night.
So, about last night.
Last night.
Here's how it went down.
Yes, it is Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and we are blessed to have Pastor A.R. Bernard here with us today.
I like the word blessed.
We are, absolutely. And we're doing About Last Night. This is where we discuss what we did last night. Now, I was working last night. I was doing my podcast, but I know you were working last night too, Pastor.
Yeah, I have the opportunity to mentor a lot of individuals, and I spent some time yesterday with a dear friend of mine and mentee in my life for more than 30 years, Curtis Martin, New York Jets, and before that, New England Patriots.
Ooh.
Which I don't hold against him, but it's okay.
And you know what's great? You're also able to talk about finances, and because you have that background too, and I think that's important.
Yeah, I'm careful the kind of counsel I give, but general principles on how to think about life and investment and things of that nature are important. So I'm able to share that and my experiences and my own success.
How do you decide who you mentor? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people, because you have over 40,000 people in your congregation, and so how do you decide with so many people that I'm sure have things that you want to make sure you can help each individual, right? How do you decide who you can mentor?
Well, again, I speak to that congregation as I can on Sundays in service, but relationships are spatial, so I determine the level of maturity and purpose that a person has when I bring them into an intimate space in my life.
I know you and Denzel Washington are close. I've seen him honor you on several occasions.
Yeah, I'm proud of him. He's come a long way. He's still growing, and he's more open. But I will tell you, the biggest issue is trust.
Okay.
That's what makes these relationships possible.
Right. No, because we've seen instances where some very, very well-known men of the cloth have betrayed the trust of the community, and it's hard to get that back when that happens.
That's all you have is your integrity and your trust, because that's what makes loving people possible. Trust makes love possible, because without it, you can't love people.
You know what's interesting? Last night for my podcast, the person we were interviewing, Tina, she was AKA Hood Celebrity. She was talking about one thing that she really needs to be able to do in her life is trust people again, because she's lost that. And it's really, really hard for her to find anyone that she can trust around her.
Yeah, and she's got to make some decisions that everybody is imperfect, and no one's going to measure up to that place where, she can not have to protect herself or not be wise. So trust makes us vulnerable and transparent, but we have to test the waters in terms of people.
Yeah, some people start at a place of I trust you until I don't, and other people start at a place of I don't trust you until you earn it.
Yeah, some people give you the benefit of the doubt, some doubt before they give you the benefit. Yeah, I get it. I understand. And that's why I say, and we'll talk about that at our town hall meeting, that relationships have to go through a process. It begins with introduction, then getting acquainted, then friendship, then intimacy. You have to go through a process of getting to know that person personally.
All right, well, that town hall is going to be at 5 o'clock streaming, and you can watch that from anywhere on Way Up With Ye and our YouTube page. And last night, also, people always write in questions, and somebody actually wrote in a question that they wanted me to specifically ask you, Pastor A.R. Bernard, because they knew you would be here today. And the question was, he is married, right, and has children with his wife. Everything started off amazing, but now his wife is his best friend, and he's no longer attracted to her, and he doesn't know what to do to try to save the relationship, or if it can be saved.
Well, I will tell you, marriage is a long-term commitment. Marriage is not something you try out and then bail out when things don't go the way you want it to. So it's a matter of sacrifice. So the question is, why is the other person demotivated and not as alive in the relationship? Something has to happen, or something's going on that person's not taking into consideration.
Well, I'll give you more details when we come back, but we want to hear from you guys too. 800-292-5150. If you've been in a situation, if you have any relationship questions you might want to ask right now, but if you've been in a situation where you love the person, they're your best friend, but you're just not attracted to them anymore, what do you do? Can you get it back? 800-292-5150. Pastor A.R. Bernard is here.
Now back. Here, she back at it. Bring in the Mac. Way Up With Angela Yee is on.
Yes, it's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and Pastor A.R. Bernard is hanging with us today.
Yeah, hanging tough.
It is a blessing and an honor to have you here. As we are talking about this topic that somebody wanted me to ask you about, right? He's married, and he has children with his wife, but she's his best friend, but he's just not attracted to her. Now, what should he do?
I think that he needs to revisit the beginning of the relationship. Rekindle the relationship. Don't give up on it so soon, especially with children. There are a lot of stakeholders involved, and to walk away is not the best thing to do. It's the easiest thing to do, but not the best thing to do. And also understand why. Why is his wife demotivated? Why has she changed? Why has she gone in a direction that no longer attracts him? Maybe he's the problem.
Yeah, he said that physically it's not an issue, but it's just her motivation level is not there. And, I was talking to him and I was like, well, maybe once she had the kids, that's a lot of work. And sometimes I think people underestimate for moms how much work it is. Cause I will say, no offense to the fathers out there, but I think with moms, it's a little different because they're the ones that are pregnant, that they have to give birth. And sometimes for women, it's a lot harder. Like they have to take off from work. Just physically even is a lot more things that women have to deal with.
That's why successful relationships need empathy. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to feel what the other person's going through. And too often, men don't put a great value on what it takes to deal with children. My wife did a great job raising us because she raised me and my sons.
Right.
And she handled everything.
You guys had 7 kids, right?
Yeah, we have 7 sons, and she cooked, she cleaned, she did everything. And I respect that, and I value that tremendously.
Right. And so, I said the same thing to him and I think also for women to value what a man brings to the table also. Sometimes we also just don't, I think, appreciate each other. We take each other for granted in a relationship, and you have to recognize what someone is doing that complements what you're doing too. And sometimes you have to lead by example.
Absolutely. And I think in the beginning of every relationship, you need to sit down and discuss the possible changes that will take place over time and how you're going to respond to those changes, because change is inevitable.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see what you guys think. Savy, how are you?
I'm all right. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, and Pastor A.R. Bernard is here too.
How you doing, man?
I'm all right.
So let's talk about this as far as a marriage. What happens when you're no longer attracted to the person, but they're still your best friend?
Okay, well, I can't chime in as far as marriage because I'm only engaged.
Okay.
But when you guys find that you aren't attracted to each other anymore, I feel like you got to go back to the groundwork. Like, start from the beginning. Why did you guys fall in love in the first place? Like, it's easy to get caught up in a lot of things you have going on in your personal lives, your professional lives, and sometimes you can forget about your spouse. So in order to, I don't know, make sure you rekindle that, just start from the beginning. Like, if you met at the grocery store, go back to the grocery store that you guys met and recreate your initial interaction. Or, I don't know, for me, like, I met my spouse in college, so we would have Monday night chicken wing nights. And, like, I know that sounds dumb, but that's what we used to do. So recreate stuff like that. I mean, granted, it's not going to be the exact same as it was when you guys first had it, but at least try. You know what I mean? You never know how much those small early gestures can really remind you why you love your spouse in the first place.
What you said is so important because people don't realize that a marriage license is actually a working permit because those are working papers. It takes work. And if you don't want to put the work in, you'll walk away at the slightest problem within the relationship.
Okay, I like that. I'm glad you managed to get it back to rekindled.
Thank you.
All right, Savvy. Thank you so much for calling.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too. Hey, Frank. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
What's going on? I'm here with Pastor A.R. Bernard, and we're asking about relationships where your mate turns into your best friend.
Yeah, I'm listening. And I feel like once the desire is gone and I'm not attracted to you no more, I feel like it's kind of over after that.
You can't get it back?
Because, I don't think so. Because whatever made me unattracted to you, it's going to stay like that, I think.
Well,
that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's given up a little too soon. And, relationships require an investment of your time, sacrifice, and it really tells the value that you have for the other person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe that's why I ain't married yet, because I ain't need that. But I'm 34. I'm 34 right now, and as my life been going on, it's like once I don't want you no more, I kind of like ain't interested, and then it ain't gonna be right no more because it's like, why you ain't touching me no more, and it just ain't gonna be the same. I think that's kind of like
any type of long-term relationship, though. I think at certain points it might get like that.
I changed the only concept.
Not me. Not me. If I don't touch you for a month, then you better leave me alone.
Doesn't sound like you're gonna be married too soon, though.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
We appreciate you. She doesn't, but. Hey, Joe. How are you?
Hey, good morning. How you doing, Anthony?
Good morning. We're here with Pastor A.R. Bernard, and we're talking about relationships. What do you do when your significant other turns into your best friend you're not attracted to?
I actually called in because I'm in that same exact situation. I've been married to my wife for 28 years. I also have my kids are married, but that part of it is gone for me. I don't know. I'm looking for answers myself. Maybe it's because she don't show me no affection or something. I don't know. I'm looking for answers.
Well, Joe, communication is the basis for life, especially the life of a marriage. And somewhere communication broke down because things started changing and you all weren't talking about it because you had been able to get out in front of it and not allow it to get this far.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what do you think he has to do now?
Reopen communication and bring some life back to the relationship and really think about the stakeholders, like the children. Because the decision to divorce hurts a lot of people, not just one person or just the husband and wife.
How long has it been like this for you?
3 or 4 years.
Okay, out of 28 years, y'all had a nice long run. I feel like, have you ever tried to get some outside help?
No, we haven't. No.
It might be worth looking into.
I think, Angela, you hit the nail on the head right there. Yeah, bring someone else in that can lead you through a conversation to restore at least the communication between the two of you so you can understand what went wrong. Change is the only constant in life, so change is inevitable in relationships. Managing that change is critical, and you really haven't done a good job because you'll be on top of what's wrong.
Wow, I totally agree with that.
All right. Well, I wish you so much luck and love, and please check back in with us.
Okay, I will, Angela. You guys have a good day.
Enjoy
your program. Keep doing what you're doing, Angela.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you guys for calling 800-292-5150. In case you couldn't get through, you can always leave a message giving us your point of view about what to do when a relationship turns from a loving one to a best friend one. And when we come back, we have Yeetie. We'll talk about music, Doja Cat, Drake, SZA, a lot of things to discuss. It's Way Up with Angela Yee. Yeetie next.
Yo, she about to blow the lid up off this pot. Let's get it. Oh, yeah. Angela's spilling that Yee tea. Come and get the tea.
All right, it's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and Pastor A.R. Bernard is here with me.
Yeah,
doing Yee tea. This is my wheelhouse here, okay? So shout out to Drake and SZA. Their song, Slime You Out, has debuted at number 1 on Billboard Hot 100. This is big for Drake. He has he's broken all kinds of records. And he always gets a number 1 debut. He actually has tied BTS for the most number 1s in the 2020s. So congratulations to him for that. It's number 1 on streaming songs, R&B, hip-hop charts. Of course, SZA's been having an amazing year, too. I went to her concert. Love me some SZA. All right, now, Doja Cat. And I'm glad you're here, Pastor A.R. Bernard, to talk about this. Doja Cat, amazing, talented artist, but a lot of her fans are experiencing, and she's experiencing backlash from a lot of her fans right now. She has claimed in the past that she doesn't care about her fans, but she posted on her social media page a devil painting that she made for her fans. I'll show you a picture of that painting. Now, Pastor A.R. Bernard, he also has a music video called Demons, for a song called Demons. Here's that song.
Yeah, hey, how my demons look.
All right, now Pastor A.R. Bernard, I want to get your thoughts.
I'm going to weigh in on this. Let me just say, first of all, the demonic and that realm is very real. I have dealt with it early on, many people. So it's nothing to play with. It's nothing to tamper with. Don't be curious about it. But before I would go there, I would say, let me check the mental health of the individual first and see what's happening to them mentally before I decide that, okay, it's in that realm of the demonic.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because she does, talented woman, but things like this can definitely cause people to be like, I don't know if I want to listen to this anymore.
Yeah, and we're concerned about the power of music because music has a very subtle influence as you listen to it.
All right. Well, I think just seeing all of that. And you know what I want to ask you too, because Halloween is coming up next month. And there's a lot of movies that are coming out. As a matter of fact, The Exorcist, the remake of that, is coming out at the end of next week. Man, and I'm a big horror movie fan. Okay, so I want to ask you, do you think, have you ever experienced something? I know they always say this is based on a true story, all these different exorcisms. Have you ever experienced anything?
Wow, can I say that on the air? I've been involved with exorcisms.
You have?
Yeah. I've seen matter change forms. I've seen people who were genuinely possessed, and I had to learn how to work with that. It is so real that the Catholic Church has a whole department that deals with that, and other denominations as well. So it's very real, it's very powerful, and something that we have to be careful of.
Be mindful of. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I always watch those movies, and it's like based on a true story, and I'm like, how? The Exorcist was actually the first horror movie I saw as a very young child. And so now they're doing this remake.
I will tell you, before I had an understanding of these things, I thought it was hilarious. I took my wife, and she was negatively impacted by it. So we don't play that with her anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, good to know. Thank you for shedding some light on that, because I'm always like, are these, possibly real things that are happening? And what do you think about watching movies like that? Because some people won't even do that.
You have to be careful with whatever entertainment you open yourself to. If you're vulnerable to these things and they can cause you to be curious about them or affect you in terms of fear, then you need to limit your intake of these things.
What about Ouija boards? We always hear about that and see movies.
Again, these things can be a gateway. We're our human nature. We're curious, so you start out with one thing, and who knows whether you'll become even more curious and go beyond that.
I don't play with Ouija boards. I will never touch one of those things. All right.
I don't recommend it.
All right. Well, that is your Yee Tea featuring Pastor A.R. Bernard. And when we come back, we have Under the Radar. These are the stories that are not necessarily in the headlines. They are flying under the radar, but you need to know about them anyway. It's Way Up with Angela Yee.
The news, I got news. This in the news that relates to you. These stories are flying under the radar.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and Pastor A.R. Bernard is here with me today, guest hosting. And we also do have a town hall at 5 p.m. today that's going to be streaming for you guys to watch. You can look at that on the Way Up with Yee YouTube page. All right. Now let's get into some of these under the radar stories. Did you know that college is no longer the biggest expense when it comes to about half of the states?
I did not know that. When I think about the cost of college today, the skyrocketing cost of college today, I had no idea that there was something more expensive. So what's more expensive?
And so this is in-state public college tuition. They're saying childcare actually costs more, according to netcredit.com. And then also teen car ownership now costs more than in-state tuition at a public university because of elevated inflation. Families are seeing now that raising a child is pricier than ever. So they said ideally you'd be able to keep childcare costs to 10% or less of your total income, but that's laughably unrealistic for millions of Americans.
And childcare is longer now. It's not just a few hours or a few days a week. We're working on a 24-hour childcare.
That's right. And the new
in our new development. That's right, because it's so necessary.
When are you guys breaking ground on it?
We're breaking ground next year.
Next year?
Yeah.
I feel like I need to be there for that.
That would be great.
And that's going to also consist of affordable housing, right? Over 1,000 units?
2,000 units. Affordable housing, mixed income. So it's going to be from 30% AMI, area median income, up to 100%. So it's going to provide for middle income affordable housing as well as low income.
That's great. And that's in Brooklyn. You know how expensive Brooklyn is right now? I know because I live in Brooklyn. All right. Now let's talk about, since we're discussing money, these private clubs that everybody is joining, from Casa Cipriani and Zero Bond to the Astor, to ZZ's Club in Miami. Some of these clubs cost about $100,000 to join and then $15,000 a year. And there's a boom of all these different clubs. You know, I feel like it all kind of started with Soho House, right? And now people are moving into these other spaces. They have a new core space that's spread over 4 floors in Manhattan and Midtown. And that's one of the elite membership clubs that have opened in major cities since the pandemic. It's supposed to redefine the old world membership clubs and create a safe space for today's privacy-minded, highly mobile, wealthy people.
That's a tough thing because more people are upwardly mobile today,
Mm-hmm.
so you have more people able to afford it. But $150K,
that's a lot. What are the benefits of something like that, though? Right? Because these clubs, they do have they have wellness spas, gyms, bars, pools, nightclubs. But it's not like you get these things for free. You still got to go in and pay for food, pay for services. It's just the membership fee.
Absolutely. I belong to a club. Full disclosure, but it was a gift from someone. So
that's a nice gift.
Put that out there.
My birthday's coming up, guys. But yeah, so the Aman Club, by the way, they just opened that over here. Now that club is ridiculously expensive. So they said that is about $200,000 for membership and then $15,000 in annual fees.
Wow.
And if anybody wants to gift me, I'm here for it. All right, now let's talk about the 10 unhappiest states. There's a list of what states are the least happy. And this is according to researchers at Wallet Hub. I love Wallet Hub, by the way. Number 10, Oklahoma. Number 9 is New Mexico. It has a high suicide rate and low volunteer participation. Number 8, Alaska. Number 7 is Mississippi. Number 6 is Alabama. Alabama has poor ratings for adequate sleep, sports participation, volunteering, and safety. Number 5 on that list is Kentucky. Number 4 is Arkansas. 3 is Tennessee. Number 2 is Louisiana. And they actually have high rates of work hour numbers and divorce. And number 1 is West Virginia. West Virginia was named the unhappiest state in the country. The worst rates of adult depression, emotional and physical well-being, work environment, and adequate sleep. The worst of all 50 states.
Then why are all these people migrating to the South?
I don't know. Cost of living, the weather.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Everybody's moving from the north to the south.
Yeah, they definitely are. So that all has to do with, as you can see, depression, adequate sleep, sports participation, volunteering, safety, divorce rates, all of those things. And these are your under the radar stories. Now, you know, we do have the Way Up mix at the top of the hour. Plus, the legendary group JJ Fad is going to be joining us today, Supersonic. And I'm excited for that. It's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And I want to make sure these women are getting their just dues because they've been left out of far too many things. It's Way Up with Angela Yee. Pastor A.R. Bernard is here.
Just like to talk like they Angela Yee, like they Angela Yee.
Man, she's spilling it all. This is Yee T. Way up.
Yes, it's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee. Pastor A.R. Bernard is co-hosting.
Hanging tough with you today.
Yes, you are. This is a lot, right?
Hey, look, let no one say that you don't work. You work. You make it look easy, but you work.
Well, let's get into this Yee T. Shout out to DC Young Fly. He is the new host of Celebrity Squares. It's a new take on the classic Hollywood Squares game show. It's going to be on VH1. It's Jesse Collins Entertainment and Kevin Hart's Heartbeat. So that's who's producing it. It's going to be a modern twist on the classic format featuring black pop culture trivia. I feel like I'll do good on that if I needed to.
You probably would.
I have all kinds of trivia information in my head. All right. Now, Spotify is going to be using AI to replicate podcasters' voices and translate them to other languages. And so the company is working with podcasters, like Bill Simmons, Dax Shepard on a select number of past and upcoming episodes, initially translated into Spanish, French, and German, and then they'll be available to both free users and paid subscribers in the coming days and weeks. They're already working on Trevor Noah's upcoming new podcast, for instance. They're going to make this feature more accessible for creators in languages in the future. It's just the beginning, Spotify said in a release.
You know, it's a scary thing. It took 20 years for us to adapt to adopt the internet. In 1 week, ChatGPT had 1 million subscribers. So we are adjusting real fast. Where's it going to go? That's the question.
Right. And when we see everything like with the writer's strike, that was one of the main issues and concerns. Yeah. How do you use AI, Pastor A.R. Bernard, when it comes to what you do?
We're already incorporating AI to respond to questions and answers that may come from the public, especially our congregation. That makes it easier, more convenient. And I'm keeping an eye on my ministers to see if they're using AI for their sermons.
But I mean, okay, is that wrong if they use it and they tweak it?
You know, because of AI, everyone has access to information. So now the sermon is about delivery and insight.
Okay.
And I think that's a good thing.
That's fair. All right, and now let's talk about Megan Thee Stallion. She is in a new PSA for, quote, Seize the Awkward. That's the campaign. And she put out a personal message about that. She's in an empty space sitting in a chair against the wall, and she talks about needing to show a tough exterior.
I've always been told I gotta be strong, but to be everything for everybody, it wears on you. Black don't crack, they say. But it can. I can. We all can. Y'all, it's okay to not be okay. Reach out to a friend if you see them going through it. No matter who you are, being vulnerable is what makes us whole. Learn how to help at seizetheawkward.org.
All right. We like that.
I like what she said. Being vulnerable is part of healing. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's seizetheawkward.org. And by the way, they also highlight her website that has an array of mental health resources, badbitcheshavebaddays2.com.
Ouch.
Easy to remember. But it is true. A lot of times, especially in her business, you know, people are coming at her constantly and you have to have this tough exterior and act unbothered. Remember, that was a big thing. Hashtag unbothered. Usually when people use that, they are very bothered.
I think the fact that women are out there the way they are and shining the way they are, taking the places that men used to only inhabit, I think it requires for you to toughen up.
Yeah, but sometimes it is a conversation of, I need a break. And it's important because that's, I think, relatable to the average human being too. We all need that.
You're out there and you've got to be strong and tough in all of your business dealings, etc. Does it challenge your femininity?
You know what? It's funny. Like, I was on vacation. So imagine, I went to Anguilla on vacation. So I'm having a great time laying around. I'm at the pool. And then something happened on social media where somebody was coming at me and talking about me, and I was so tempted to respond like immediately. I had a million things I wanted to say in response. I wanted to tell my truth. And then fortunately I was on vacation, and an hour later I didn't care anymore. And sometimes it is just taking a moment to be like, okay, let me not respond to this right away. Let me log off. Let me get back to my real life. And so for me, yes, it's always a challenge. And it's always like, I feel like you have to be tough. When people know that they're bothering you, sometimes that's their intention.
Right.
And you don't want to give them that. And so you have to put on this exterior so that you feel tough. And people think that.
I think that's a great answer.
Mm-hmm. So shout out to you, Megan Thee Stallion. And Finesse 2 Times has gotten both of his girlfriends pregnant. You know, they all live together under the same roof. He did have another girlfriend, but I guess they broke up. So there were originally 3 girlfriends. Now there's 2.
You know, I got a problem. I'm going to be very, very strong on that. And that is men should take responsibility for what they create and shouldn't run around creating what they don't want to be responsible for. Women need to be respected and valued and treated in a way with dignity. And I don't think that kind of record establishes that. I grew up without a father because my father abandoned me and my mother. So I understand what it is to experience that kind of thing. So look, I think these brothers need to level up.
Well, listen, he does have them under the same roof, and they're quite aware of their situation. But we're going to see what happens. And so we'll keep you guys filled in on Finesse 2 Times and his very unique situation. All right, if that is your Yeetie. And when we come back, since Pastor A.R. Bernard has been hosting all morning, we want to make sure that we have a chance to talk to you about everything that you have going on and get on into your business, okay? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. More with Pastor A.R. Bernard when we come back.
Back and I'm back at it.
You vibing Way Up with Angela Yee.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and my highly esteemed co-host, Pastor A.R. Bernard, is here with me today.
How you said that very sophisticatedly. I like that.
And I wanted to just get a little bit into your background for people who are familiar with you, but maybe don't know your whole story.
Wow, where do I begin? There's a lot of story to tell. I was born in Panama. Father abandoned my mom and I. 4 years old, we came to the United States to make a new start. Grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, right, Van Buren Street, and then Bushwick, Brooklyn. Grew up at a time where everything was happening in the United States. Civil rights movement was strong. Malcolm was a big influence on my life, which led me into the Nation of Islam. And eventually, within a certain period, I turned to Christianity.
Do you have a good relationship with the Nation of Islam still?
Yeah, we have a very respectful relationship.
Okay.
We had our confrontation. But now we have a very respectful relationship. But you know what? The Nation played a very important role in the American journey for people of color because it really was organized as a social protest against the failure of the white American Christian church to deal with the socioeconomic plight of blacks in this country. So I appreciate it. It gave me a sense of order, discipline, identity, strength. But it didn't give me everything that I needed as I was looking for ultimate reality. That I found in Christianity.
Okay. All right. So Christianity. Now let's talk about the church and how you managed to outgrow your first space and then have a congregation of 40,000.
Wow. Well, I was a banker.
Active members.
I was a banker by trade. I was in the banking industry for 10 years, banking and finance. And in the middle of those 10 years, I had my epiphany, converted to Christianity.
Did you love that job as a banker?
I loved it. But, when you have a moment of transformation that I did, you begin to think about meaning and purpose and the role that you serve in life. And I just knew it wasn't finance. I had a greater role, greater calling on my life. And that was to shepherd people, to help them find meaning and purpose within the context of faith.
Okay. All right.
So we started a little storefront church, my wife and I. And
how big was your congregation when you first started?
A big 4.
Listen,
4 folks. That was it. Just 4 people.
I just like to talk about that because it shows how you have to really put the legwork in. You start with a congregation of 4 to grow to 40,000, and that is a huge feat. But it also had to start somewhere. And sometimes I think people can be really impatient and wanting to grow what it is that they're doing too quickly.
Yeah, you have to appreciate the power of delayed gratification. And I learned that over time. And everything begins in seed form and then grows into an experience. So that was the seed that my wife and I committed ourselves to fully. And it was slow go for a good 10 years. It took us to get to about 325 members. And then 10 years after that, all of a sudden we hit this exponential curve and everything exploded. We jumped from 625 members to 11,000 members in 10 years.
Wow.
And then continue to grow from there. But I think it's changing people's lives. It's making faith relevant. to them, helping them to understand the world in which they live through the lens of their faith.
And I've heard you say on numerous occasions, faith is not necessarily religion always, because people sometimes really tie those things in together.
Yeah, religion comes from a Latin word, which means those practices that bind us with divinity, with God. And ritual and practice is important, but it's really the condition of the heart and mind working together. We're here to discover our gift, talents, and abilities, discover purpose by serving humanity. So we're here to learn, grow, and contribute. So I want to help people become the best version of themselves and to have a spiritual anchor, because without a spiritual anchor, you have nothing to protect you from what we can become when our humanity runs out.
And aside from all of this, I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about right now, because you're also building, you own a lot of land, right, in Brooklyn, in a part of Brooklyn that is becoming gentrified.
Yeah. By New York standards, 10.5 acres is a lot of land.
Yeah, it is, right? Maybe in some places they're like, oh, that's it. But in New York, that is a city.
That's a lot of land. And we created something called the Urban Village. Mm-hmm. And my philosophy is environment, people, programs, and sustainability. What could we do to respond to the need for housing, especially in our community? We're in East New York, Brownsville, so that has a history of being underserved communities and marginalized communities. What can we do to change the narrative that the way up is out, and keep people there, bringing their talents, their abilities, and everything? So we have a whole new generation that has emerged, more educated, upwardly mobile, and they can't afford to live in the city.
Right.
So our project looks to bring not just low-income housing, but affordable middle-income housing.
Okay.
Along
and we break ground next year.
Oh, yeah. Supermarket, trade school, 24-hour child care, all of that.
All right. I love all of that. And also an author. And, one thing we've spoken about before is one of your books, 4 Things Women Want from a Man. And we're going to be having some relationship discussions today at 5 p.m. We're going to be having a town hall. And I know you and we may think alike on some things, but I have some questions.
Okay.
Pastor A.R.
Good.
Bernard.
I'm cool with that.
I need some guidance.
That's it.
As many of us do. So you can all watch that and participate. We'll be streaming live on my YouTube channel on Way Up with Yee with Pastor A.R. Bernard. Y'all don't even understand how amazing this is that you're actually sitting here. I've seen many of your town hall conversations. So it is definitely a treat for me to be here with you.
Yeah, likewise. I've enjoyed what you make look easy.
All right. Well, listen, what you do is not easy. And when we come back, we are going to be talking to JJ Fad. They're going to be joining us. They are legends, icons in this hip hop business. It is the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and I want to make sure we give them their flowers. And we also have Ask Yee, 800-292-5150. Today's a great day for you to get some advice. It's Way Up with Angela Yee.
Hey. Yeah, she back at it. Bring in the Mac. Way Up with Angela Yee is on.
Yes, it is Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and Pastor A.R. Bernard has been here today. He's got a nice vibe with us.
It's been a delight being with you all day. And like I said during the break, your pulpit. This is your pulpit. You are speaking to who knows how many people, and really giving them some inspiration and motivation. And we need something positive in our very negative society today.
Yes, indeed. I'm trying to follow in your footsteps.
You're doing well. You make it look easy.
Well, thank you, Pastor A.R. Bernard. And I want to shout out to my girl, Deborah Roberts. She is now stepping into her new role as a co-anchor at 2020 alongside her colleague, David Muir, following the footsteps of Barbara Walters. Okay? We love Deborah Roberts, and she was actually up here recently promoting her book. She actually has a book of essays dedicated to your favorite teacher. So she talked to different women like a Rosie Perez about who their favorite teacher was, and it was kind of like an homage to teachers.
That's interesting. We met, Al Roker and I were being honored at a particular event years ago, and that was the first time that I met her, and just a great vibe.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Yeah, her book is called Lessons Learned and Cherished. Yes. All right. Well, listen, we got Ask Yee coming up with Pastor A.R. Bernard, but we also have JJ Fad when we come back, and they're going to be talking about the 50th anniversary of hip hop and also dispelling some things that happened on this very same show. There was some false information given out about JJ Fad, and they're going to clear the air. It's Way Up with Angela Yee.
Yeah, she back at it. Bring in the Mac. Way Up with Angela Yee is on.
What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and we are definitely way up today because, you know, for me, I'm such a fan of hip hop. This is how I grew up in Brooklyn, and 2 out of the 3 members of JJ Fad are here, and I definitely grew up listening to you guys.
Thank you.
Supersonic. But the reason why we even are here today, and let's get this out the way first.
Yes.
Is we had Fab Five Freddy on the show.
Yes.
And he was talking about the JJ Fad album, and he said that Ice Cube wrote the whole album.
Right.
I'm going to tell you something about that Supersonic record. Ice Cube wrote that entire album. It was Jerry Heller, the head of Ruthless Records, told me that.
A lot of people were was surprised by that. They didn't know that fun fact. But then you guys reached out because it was incorrect.
Right. And we just want to start by saying, first of all, we're not mad at Fab Five Freddy. He was just saying what he heard, but it wasn't factual. So there's no beef or anything like that. But we just don't want that narrative out there that we didn't do the work. No, Ice Cube did not write our album, and although he is our ruthless brother and we love him to death and we're very close to him,
and although he did take part of writing some stuff on our album,
mostly our diss record.
It wasn't Supersonic.
It was a song on the other side of Supersonic. Okay.
So we just wanted to straighten that out because we did a lot of work on that song, and we take a lot of pride in that.
Right. Understood. And you guys should make sure you get the credit because I feel like JJ Fad isn't getting enough credit. And I know you guys feel the same way, but let's take it back, to the beginning because you guys formed as a group as teenagers, right?
Yes.
Right. All right. How old?
14. Baby.
That's why baby 14 years old. That's wild.
Yes. And I was 19.
All right, so let's talk about how y'all came together because at first it was 4 of you.
5
of you. Okay.
I had heard Salt and Pepper, their album, and I was like, gosh, really wish the West Coast could be, represented like that. So one of my friends was like, well, you should do it. You like to rap. You're an entertainer. Go ahead and try to start a rap group. And I was like, all right. So then I had an audition in my mom's den.
I love it.
And I had a group already.
Yes.
So with the age difference, my group we were the cautious crew. We had break dance and talent shows and everything.
And you were a beatboxer also?
And I was a beatboxer.
The first female beatboxer.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that doesn't get enough credit as well.
Right.
But I held this audition, and when I say she blew me away, she blew me away. So not only did I take her, I took the whole crew.
Right now, I'm talking to JJ Fad. And then you guys also did end up signing to Ruthless Records, right? And y'all were very different.
Yes.
From the other acts on Ruthless Records.
Yes. We dub ourselves the Ruthless Princesses. They were in the middle of starting the NWA album. And then Jerry told Dre and Easy told Dre, just stop right now because I got these girls and we need to put them out first because they're so hardcore.
Right.
They were afraid that mainstream wouldn't embrace them or the label. So they put us out first as a way to be reputable, as a way to be like, okay, they're mainstream. Okay, they're gonna anything
open
on
the doors.
Ruthless. Yeah, anything on Ruthless is gonna be fine. So we opened the doors for them to break out,
soften it up.
Yeah, and also funded their album with our
because your album went gold.
It went and eventually platinum.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
So back to the diss records because you said Ice Cube helped write some of that. I can't believe JJ Fad was doing diss records. I heard Salt and Pepper had a little beef with y'all for a second.
It was at the time when we came out, even we thought dissing was the way, but we only did our.
Salt and Pepper did that too when they first came out.
Right. So we thought that was out at the time, right? So we just said, well, let's just throw this out there, and that was the A side. So we're gonna diss. We're gonna diss. So we wanted to have fun and then still try to get a little name for ourselves.
Yes. Right. But a little harsh there.
But that didn't work.
Yes.
That didn't work. Let me tell you. And we love everybody that we dissed, and that was so childish of us.
But it was Roxanne and Shantae did it too.
Everybody did it.
So that was kind of the thing.
It was the thing at the time. That's why I said it ain't no hard feelings against nobody. But one time we was in the club with our PR person, and he flipped that record on the B side, and Supersonic took off.
Yeah,
it was
because the A side was the diss record.
Okay, yeah.
And then we flipped it over and
to the B side.
The club went wild, and he was like, that's the record you guys need
That's
to put
the one
out
you
first.
need to put out.
That's something that I feel like to this day is still a hit. Even if you would have put it out now, it just sounds very timeless.
Yeah, it is.
And financially, for instance, I used to work with Nav Rogers and he wrote We Are Family. So he always talks about how that song is so big, it makes him a lot of money to this day every single year. Does Supersonic still bring in some great checks every year?
Yes, absolutely. And, still being able to go out and perform, and that helps as well. But we're not going to lie, we all have regular jobs.
Yeah. Right.
So Supersonic it doesn't make us rich. We want benefits. We want consistency. So we all hold regular jobs.
Yeah.
So you work both in healthcare?
I'm a school nurse.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a supervisor for a casino hotel.
Okay.
And Sassy C is a respiratory therapist.
Yes.
First of all, how exciting to have you as the school nurse.
I know, right?
Like, do the kids know?
I have like 2 different personas. So at work, I'm Nurse Juana, and it does come out eventually.
I need to go to the...
You try to keep it on the down low, but eventually, like every job I've been at, eventually they're like, oh, we heard that you. So it eventually gets out, but they know that I'm there to do that job.
Right.
And I'm also a cheer coach there too. So
Okay.
I do the cheer, and so they know. But
that's still cool to be able to like brag on that. Like,
Yeah.
my chair coach.
Yeah.
And Baby D, what about you at your job? Do people know like this is...
I mean, they know. They tell everybody that come in the door.
I bet.
They're proud of it. Come in here, okay? Yeah, they do know.
Now, how was it for you guys being in the midst? Because there was a lot of drama going on, you know, being signed to a label like Ruthless, and even with Jerry Heller and with people talking about the business side of things, and then the breakup and NWA. I mean, y'all were in the midst of all that, and we never get to hear your side of how that affected your business.
Yeah.
How did that affect you guys as a group and your music?
At the time, that's when we kind of stepped away and was with our babies. We
Good
were raising
timing.
them.
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
perfect timing, because in between all that, we stayed mutual. They were having it out, you know, and we were in the background like, oh my God, what is next, you know, but we stayed mutual. We loved both sides.
Mm-hmm.
We loved both sides, and they kept it like that. That wasn't our business,
Right.
you know, so that's why I still all love with everybody,
Right.
everyone. We didn't take no sides.
But I will say, and people always like, Jerry Heller, he was a crook, blah, 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 blah. But I have to tell you, Jerry Heller was very good to us. He gave us our own publishing.
Wow. Did y'all have lawyers that were handling that, or did he
They were his lawyers.
That's always a no.
Yes, yes.
we didn't know.
Fortunately,
Yeah, we were young, but I still say to this day, like, he treated us just like his kids.
All right, JJ Fad is here with us. We have more with them when we come back. I have so many questions. The first female rap group signed to Ruthless Record. First female rap group nominated for a Grammy. So many firsts with them. It's Way Up with Angela Yee.
Now I'm back at it.
You vibing Way Up with Angela Yee.
What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and the iconic group JJ Fad is here with me. Now, let's talk to Baby D. I know you had some issues when you found out that you guys were not even featured in the movie Straight Outta Compton.
It's just funny how, like, we were snubbed out of that, and that really hurt us because we were there. And like she said earlier, we opened the doors for Ruthless. So how could you even do Ruthless movie, story, whatever, without even mentioning us?
But you know what that leaves a great space for? I know you guys are working on your own movie.
Yeah.
And I think that leaves a great space for you to be able to tell your own story from the way that y'all saw it. And we also didn't see enough of like women. You guys were also the first female rap group to be nominated for a Grammy.
Yes.
And again, and I saw you guys talking about this too. And I saw Jerry Heller also shouting y'all out for the contributions that you've made and not gotten the recognition for, but you weren't even invited to the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And being the first female rap group nominated for a Grammy, I would think at least be in the audience, at least some type of interview or something.
Right, exactly. Because if you're at the Grammys and they're honoring rap, and rap was the very first category in the 80s,
year.
and you were the first one nominated. Yeah, they boycotted.
And we was there.
Yes, that's in Kumo D. We was hanging in there. But the funny thing is I always remember Chuck saying, y'all need to go. We're going to make a statement because that's what we do. That's who we are. But you guys need to go. He goes, this is a first. You guys are young. This is an opportunity that may never come again. And it didn't. Not yet. We might. Hey, we still got opportunities.
Still got things happening.
But we're thankful that we did.
So you have a still good relationship with Chuck D.
Yes, very, very good relationship. I call him like a mentor. We were on the very first national hip hop tour, which was the Run's House tour. We were on that tour.
The only women?
Only women.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they all were so protective, and they treated us like gold. I'm like, she's gonna have to tell you the story about Run DMC. But anyway, I'll finish telling you about Chuck. We would take long walks, like after the show, and he would tell me about the business. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that. Make sure you have this. Make sure you have that. Like, he always mentored me and said, these are the things that you need to do to be successful. And I'll never forget that because I cherish all that knowledge that he had at that time, you know. So that was really special to me, and that's why I love him.
Now I want to hear your story.
Yes,
It's long. No, it's just like I had to stay home. See, I had to stay in the room because I was young. You know, I was 14. And then you would take like DMC and say, come on, I'll babysit. So he was my personal babysitter. And we would sit and write raps. And just, all night until they come and get me. And we just had like the greatest time, like Flavor. Flavor was like, he was wild and crazy. I got to run around with him a little bit, but then now going back to the babysitter.
Right,
So
we wanted to go out. We wanted to go to the club and she couldn't go.
Right.
So D was like, I'll watch her.
Yeah, he wasn't getting out like them. So he took care of me and I love him for that.
Right now, I'm talking to JJ Fad. So you are working on some new music.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the sound like now for JJ Fad?
And that's where we're torn. Because if you really think about it, Angela, how many people from the 80s have come back and tried to come back and make a song and it was successful?
Right.
So we're being really careful about how we come back because you don't want to alienate those fans that love Supersonic.
Right.
But you also want to make sure that you're up to date with what people are hearing.
Maybe I should do a new diss record. Who y'all gonna...
Hey, we messing with them girls.
Go over well today.
Yes.
Somebody will shoot you.
Yeah.
Don't play with them people.
Well, listen, I want to thank you guys so much for coming through. This honestly was such a pleasure for me. I know this all started with you wanting to make sure that you set the record straight.
Yes.
Is there anything else you feel like you need to set the record straight on while we're here?
Only that we just want our flowers while we're here. We don't want to wait till something bad happened and they coulda, shoulda, woulda us. We just want the respect and the love that we deserve.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all.
And our place is stamped in hip hop history.
Yeah.
So give us that respect. If you have hip hop's 50th, then include us because what more history do you have than being nominated for the first Grammy, being on the first national tour? Like, what more history is there than that, as far as hip hop goes? So we just want that respect. We just want to be included, in the 50th anniversary and all the time, just even in the conversations.
It doesn't have to just be the 50th anniversary.
Right.
And it doesn't have to just be about women.
Right.
And hip hop. It could be hip hop in general.
Correct. Correct.
This is an honor for me to have y'all up here because I grew up as a hip hop kid in Brooklyn. And so, like I said, I never thought I'd be in a position to be sitting in a room with you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We had a good time.
All right. Well, thank you so much to JJ Fad for joining me today on Way Up with Angela Yee. And you can watch the full interview on my YouTube channel, Way Up with Yee. And when we come back, we have Ask Yee. Pastor A.R. Bernard is here to also give us his expert advice. It's Way Up with Yee. 1-800-292-5150. Call us up.
Everybody whether it's relationship or career advice, Angela's dropping facts.
So you should know.
This is Ask Yee.
What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee and Pastor A.R. Bernard is here with me. What a blessing to have you here because people need some help. And it's time for Ask Yee. All right. Well, 800-292-5150 is a number and this caller wants to remain anonymous. Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Yee?
I'm good, thank you. And you're very fortunate because Pastor A.R. Bernard is here too.
Nice to meet you, Pastor Bernard.
Likewise.
Okay, what's your question, honey?
Okay. My question is, I've been together for 13 years with my fiance. We're not officially married, but we just, claim each other as a married couple and stuff like that. We have 2 boys. And we both have mental health problems. And he turned to prescription pills or whatever. And then now he's trying to get off of it. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, if he gets off to go to rehab and stuff like that, me and my kids are kind of going to fall down because I'm not working, and also just started having seizures a year ago, pseudo seizures. And so I'm trying to deal with that at the same time. And it's I don't have money coming in for the household. I'm just trying to figure out a way to be able to step up and be there for him as well and make sure that I'm there for myself.
Wow. If I may respond to you, do you have a support system? Are you part of a church, part of a group? What's your support system? This is very, very important at times like this.
I actually just started church where my kids used to go to their daycare. Since I haven't been working, I had to pull them out of that because that was $800 a month, and we definitely didn't have that.
Right.
It's a lot of things going down and down, our car is down and all kind of stuff back to back.
So what you're saying is he does need to go to rehab, but financially you need still support for the family.
Correct.
Yeah, and there are support systems in place. You just need to reach out to your local pastor, your local church, and find out what programs they can connect you to. There's help out there for you. You just got to seek it.
Okay.
Yeah, and listen, and what about family support too?
We both don't have that family support. I have an aunt. She lives like an hour away, but she's only doing the things that she can because she's sick and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
What city are you guys in?
Oh, we're in Beaumont.
Okay.
Yeah,
Texas.
I've been there before. The fact that you didn't mention family in the beginning, I had to assume very quickly that you didn't have that kind of support system. That's why I asked about an external support system. But definitely, there's got to be programs, community centers, community programs, social programs that are available to you that you need to tap into as quickly as possible.
Right, and
that's the thing. I also go. I'm sorry to cut you off. I go to something like that, but it seemed like he said that if he goes to his job or whatever and tells them about it, they will fire him because it's a zero tolerance type thing.
Yeah, well, that's why I suggested the local church because there you're protected.
Okay.
All right. I wish you so much support, and I really do hope this does work out for you. If you can, just send me a DM. I know you want to remain anonymous, so I won't post your information just so we can stay in touch.
Thank you so much, Yee. I will definitely send it to you on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. Send me a DM so you and I can stay in touch, and I can also look into some things for you.
Yeah, we can do that together. I'd love to do that.
I was going to ask, could I also DM you too as well, Pastor?
Well, yeah, you can go to my website. You can just Google me, A.R. Bernard, Pastor A.R. Bernard, and absolutely, you'll have access. Yeah, and we have relationships in that part of town.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
All right, dear.
Thank you. I'm glad you called us for help.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
All right. It's Way Up with Angela Yee. See, that's amazing.
Well, that's one of the roles of the church. It's community.
Yeah.
People caring for each other. And we don't have enough of that. We've moved away from that.
Okay, well, I'm going to definitely make sure I stay in contact with her and give some updates. That is Ask Yee, 800-292-5150 in case you couldn't get through, featuring Pastor A.R. Bernard. And when we come back, you guys always have the last word. That is the number, 800-292-5150. It's Way Up with Angela Yee.
Pick up the phone.
Tap in. Tap in and get your voice heard.
What the word is.
Here's the last word on Way Up with Angela Yee.
What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and I just want to say thank you to Pastor A.R. Bernard for joining me today.
It is my pleasure. And I will tell you, it's been a learning experience for me to see the type of phone calls that you're fielding and how you're responding to the needs of people. It's an amazing platform you have here.
I love this. And you know what? I want to bring this up and put you on the spot right now because you had a podcast.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what happened? Are you bringing this back or?
We are relaunching October 3rd.
Okay. I had to put you on the spot because I'm like, where's the podcast?
We're excited about it. It's a whole new look, whole new feel, and a new podcast. Well, it's called A.R. Bernard, of course. But yeah, we're relaunching. So we're very excited about it. So we haven't disappeared on you. We're still here.
That's why I was going to put you on the spot. I gave you no heads up. But yes, because, I've been following Pastor A.R. Bernard ever since we first met. And I know I've interviewed you before on The Breakfast Club. But it's different to have you here the whole time on Way Up with Angela Yee, just guest hosting.
It's been an amazing experience. And again, I've learned a lot just watching what you do and how you do it and the role that you play in the lives of people. And that's special to me.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a lot coming from you. And what else means a lot is that we will also be spending the rest of the day together at 5 p.m. We'll be having a town hall. We'll be talking about relationships,
yes,
which is a very important topic. Okay, and that's going to be at 5 p.m. today. So you guys can all stream that and join us. It's a town hall. You can stream that for free. You'll also have it available even afterwards. If you can't make it at 5, we'll make sure that you guys have that available to download, to watch at your leisure. And I want to thank JJ Fad for coming through today. I grew up listening to hip hop in Brooklyn, and JJ Fad, I could never even have imagined that I would be sitting down having conversations with them. So I thank them for coming through and their contributions to hip hop. And I thank you, Pastor A.R. Bernard, a huge Tupac fan, we found out today.
Yeah. And for reasons that we'd have to take some time to discuss. It was the music, but more so the words. He was really insightful and prophetic in terms of how he understood what was happening in society.
No, you're absolutely right. I think that's why people gravitated toward him so much, as well. But as usual, you guys get the last word. So in case you couldn't get through today, 800-292-5150 is the number. Last word.
Hey, Yee, this is Jay from Patterson. Yo, let them ladies know up at JJ Fad, I had the biggest crush on them, man. I love them girls. Bye.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Cheryl calling from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'd like to give a shout out to A.R. Bernard, and I'm glad to have had the chance to have met him in Minneapolis at my home church, and God bless him to continue to keep spreading the good word of the gospel around. Have a great day.
Going way up, turn up with Angela Yee.